So welcome back to a brand new golf lesson, guys, and in today's lesson I'm assuming you click this video because you want to hit your irons better and longer, and I'm going to share with you two feelings that we can do to help us do that. So recently in one of my lessons with a guy called Jim, what we had was he had a bit of an issue where he was losing quite a lot of distance and hitting quite high, weak golf shots. Okay, so he would get quite a lot of loft onto the ball, especially with his irons when he was hitting them. They were ballooning up a little bit and he was seeing a bit of a cut coming through. So after looking at some swings and watching him hit a few shots, what we found was that the shaft in transition was getting too steep. So what we started to work on was actually getting him a little bit shallower. Now I know it's a term that we hear quite a little bit on, you know, YouTube or in the golfing community. Oh, do you shallow your shaft, or can you shallow it? And it gets a little bit faddy, but there's a great reason why we need to do it. So firstly, we need to understand why we do it. So if I was just to address a golf ball here, and if I just pop this one down, as I stand to this ball now and I'm aiming at my target down the middle of the fairway here, obviously I'm inside the golf ball now, so it makes sense that I actually want to make a motion where the club swings around my body, and as I go back and then I have a transition back into my downswing, I almost want to come in the same way I went back up on, so then I'm able to deliver the club back to the ball, get it somewhere out close to middle of the face, and also get the energy traveling in the right direction. If I'm making quite a lot of movements where I'm working away in different manners around my body and then throwing it over, I'm not really putting a lot of hit and force into the back of the golf ball. So then my total distance is going to be very compensated because of that. I'm going to see that it goes down. So what we'd want to see, like I say, is this rounded action. And what we found with Jim was that as he was making his golf swing, he was great. And what a lot of things were starting to show was that when he got from practice swing that was literally nearly textbook perfect to actually hitting it, a big thing changed. And that was after his practice swings, tempo started changing. So in his practice swings, he knew that he wanted to shallow it out. He thought, here, let the club fall in, let it swing round, let it turn over. And he made a beautiful practice swing. It looked great, and I thought, this is going to be strange if he's saying he's having these problems. So then as soon as he got into it, it's as if the Hulk came out. He got to the top and it was straight away. The first thing he did was to throw it over here. And then what we were noticing after watching some of his videos was that his hands were traveling across his body and really starting to get this big chicken wing as he was coming through here, because they were working across the torso so much that he had to throw the club, that actually adding some loft to it, and also getting it travelling from out to in too much a little bit this way, because he was just chucking it and really stacking the shaft up in this manner as he started to make his transition into downswing. So after talking through it a little bit, what we found was, right, okay, well, tempo's a big one here for you, Jim. We've got to see that we're getting some smooth shots off. So what we started to do, just to get him the feeling again of letting the club shallow out and actually not try and overpower the golf club, as it were, I got him just to hold two golf clubs here. So what he did was he would get up to the top, and as soon as you get these clubs up into position, you can't stand here for too long because you can really feel the weight of the club heads and the club shafts. So it was that we wanted to come down and almost let the clubs guide us and put it onto the arc we want to see it swinging. So the first step to this drill is that we take two golf clubs and make our golf swings, and when we get up to the top of the backswing and we start to transition into downswing, I want you to almost feel that you're letting them drop behind you. From there then, what you'll notice is that it's very hard to pull your hands across your torso this way. So if you're someone who's suffering with the chicken wing and getting it steep, this is part one. So we go here, we were up, let it fall, and just got this tempo going nicely and really feeling this wide and big extension going through with the two clubs in some practice swings. Now for part two. This is going to be quite an interesting one for you. Okay then, two big Noodles in the video, making quite a lot of appearances recently, these Noodles in the videos, but a great visual aid. And anytime we can get some visual aids in our golf swing and actually train with them, it really helps us make changes that we need to make. So the reason why we had these, as we said, Jim was making a golf swing that everything he did, he would feel that his hands were dragging across his body, really tucking into his torso and almost wiping across, and all his energy was sucked up back into himself, hence why he was losing quite a lot of distance. So what I had Jim do to start off with, just at the range, I got him to take a few balls, put a couple in the pocket, and I said, right, okay, imagine now, Jim, if we were to just grip the ball between our palms, even if it was like a bit of a football, and we were stood to this target now side on, and this was a goal here, how would you get it out there? How would you actually get this ball to travel through the target? And I said, you've got to make your backswing here. We know you've got a good one, but let's get it out towards the goal here that we've made with some noodles. So straight away, because he's now not thinking about hitting the golf ball down here, and he's actually thinking about delivering the golf ball through the hoops, through the goal here, what we started to see was that he'd make some swings, and instead of it being the old one where he would throw it really out towards the left hand side of the goal here, after a couple of goes, what we started to see was that Jin, after quite a few swings, was now starting to actually throw it, I can't even do it, throw it straight through the target here. So we got it there, and he was throwing it straight through the goal in this manner. So we started to see now that he got this feeling back of his practice swing, and he was actually, instead of focusing here, like I say, everything was about where the hands were traveling, and if they were good and he had the feeling of the clubs dropping and then coupling it with this, he started to get a real understanding of how to swing the golf club. So from there, what I had Jim do then was actually take some shots and almost imagine, and there wasn't any way he was really going to do it, I had them placed quite a bit further to the right, the noodles, when we were during the lesson, but after discussing it with him, I said, okay, if we've got the club face going here now, it's going to be a little bit open, so what do we need to do? And immediately he knew that he had to release the face by actually letting his forearms cross over. So he went from here, all about trying to hit it harder to try and get the distance that he was losing and putting everything down and stacking the shaft up too steep, to actually thinking about, right, well, I'll make a bit more of an arc and feel that I'm going to release it through the gate here and actually let my hands turn over a little bit more. So what we got from there then was, as he started to make some shots and we were having some half shots, we started to actually try and feel that we were going to let it go through the goal and let it turn over. So if I just demonstrate here, we've got the feeling of dropping the shaft and then letting the hands swing out towards the goal, but letting the hands release and letting the forearms cross over to square that club face up. And if we do that, we'll be swinging from the inside with the face looking a little bit left, and we should see more of a draw shot. So let's give this a little bit of a go here. I might even try and get it through and get it actually working around. So perfect. Clip the noodle straight in the middle. So I've got the club now actually travelling out here. Didn't quite release my face enough to make sure that it started a little further left. So let's give it one more go. We're going to take our aim just left of the outside noodle here. Feel that my hands are coming in and releasing it a little bit more. So good swing. Let's see that we can get it. Perfect. Straight down the target line with a lovely little bit of draw there on a half shot. So such a simple way. Obviously you might not be able to do this, but what you can do at the range is put another stick out there. You could literally put an alignment cane in the grass and think to yourself, right, after you've had the shafts falling behind you, how would I then let the hands go out towards that alignment cane? From there then, how do I release it to make sure I'm getting it back towards target? And what you should see is that you stop dragging the handle first thing in transition, throwing the club over the top and letting your hands suck into you and getting that big chicken wing feeling as you go through. So guys, If this is something that you're suffering with, make sure you give those drills a go. Really, really simple stuff and can get you really, really good results. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this lesson this week. If you have, do remember to hit the subscribe button. Also turn on that bell notification so you don't miss any future lessons. Currently out at La Cala. They've put on the sunshine for me, making loads of content to see us all through the winter. So let's get improving our games and making sure that 2020 is going to be our best year. And I'll see you in another lesson.